This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by lynda.com, the unparalleled online video training library. For a free 10-day unlimited trial, visit lynda.com/MacVoices. Hi, I'm Chuck Joyner. We are at AltConf in San Francisco with WWDC. I'm here with the founders of AltConf, Rob Elkin and Judy Chen. Guys, it's great to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Great to talk to you in person instead of over the phone.
Yeah, looking down at the computer.
Yeah.
And Judy, we didn't get to chat this year before the conference, but you're here live and in person.
I'm here all week, all the livelong day.
Yeah.
So as we record this, you're about halfway through the conference, and it's been fantastic. I haven't seen a single problem, a single issue. It's just been a lot of fun and a lot of great people.
Yeah, best year ever, I think, so far. Bigger than ever before, better than ever before. We're a lot more organized than we've ever been. Bigger team. It's just so much fun. So.
Does it scare you how successful it is and how much bigger it is getting each time?
I think it's just really exciting, I think it really says something about the community, that we provide this need for the community, and I'm just, it is a little bit scary, I must admit, but once we start going and seeing everybody actually show up, it really pays off.
Yeah, it would be a little bit of a bummer if nobody showed up.
Plus, once it gets going, it's kind of like a train. You can't really stop it. So it's like, I'm just going to have to be okay with this now.
Well, it's been fun for me to watch it evolve from where you first started in the very lot smaller space. Then it grew to a larger space. Now you're here renting out 3 theaters in the Metreon, and you've got what you have? Tell me, Rob. Like how many speakers?
We've got 90 speakers this year, and 1,000 seats. So it's very, very big, yeah.
And 90 speakers, is that what? That's 3 tracks, 90 speakers.
It's 2 tracks, and a bunch of panels are in there. But I mean, there's 4 panels, 5 panels. But it's just 30 minutes per speaker in 2 tracks is a lot of people, and it's a good thing. There's a lot of content, a lot of information coming out.
Now, I've been out here talking to people, but I've also been able to stick my head into some of the sessions, and they seem well attended, but I kept getting sucked in. I wanted to stay for the sessions. They've all been great.
Yeah, and we have to give a shout out to the community because we had a really big call for papers and we got a ton of submissions. So I would say half or even more than half of the talks are from submissions that we then went through and sorted through and picked the best ones.
Yeah. And even with that, like you said, we got so many. We probably got 200 or something submissions. We couldn't take everybody. We could barely take a fraction of it. So that's really testament to how much people want to come and speak at AltConf. So I think we're just going to need to get more theaters next year, and so everybody can just come and speak.
Well, they have 15 of them here. So what's your target for next year?
Well, there's room for growth. Probably take maybe another 3 next year, another 4. I don't know. We'll make it up as we go along. I have some thoughts about what to do next year already, but like I said last year, I'm not going to tell you because then you'll hold me to it. And yeah.
Well, and we're not going to bring up next year because we still got to get through this year, and then you guys got to get a little sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Judy, something you said, though, I think is very interesting, how people want to come here and the service you're providing the community, and it really is important. I don't think anybody really blames Apple for having to restrict things because they only have so many warm bodies to talk to developers. But it's clear that there's a need for not just the Apple stuff, but a lot of other community stuff that you all are fulfilling. Exactly,
and there's talks about diversity, there's talk about, how do you get through the workday together, how do you write a book about technical stuff, just stuff that is not necessarily covered by Apple.
It's not necessarily it's not technical. It's more the business side of it and the community side of it. I had a great conversation with Mike earlier about the diversity thing. He asked me some questions and I'm still thinking about them. I don't quite know how I feel about some of the questions he asked me, so it's opened my mind a little bit as well.
That happens when you talk to Mike. That's a good thing, though.
Okay, yeah, well, for me it was. I won't speak for everybody else.
Yeah.
how about the sponsors? You have a few sponsors set up this year, and from everything I've seen, I've had trouble getting to them to interview them because the tables are always crowded. From morning to night, the tables are crowded.
Yeah, so, well, first off, massive thank you to the sponsors for sponsoring, because we can't do it without them. We can't get this space without them. But yeah, the venue is kind of perfect for what we're looking to do this year. We've got theatre seats, so that the talks are really fantastic, but also the hallway is really nice and big. The sponsors can be there, and everyone just kind of hangs out in the hallway and gets a chance to interact with them. So yeah, it's been really good. I mean, if we could turn the camera, you would see there's a crowd of 20 or 30 people to the right hand side here. It's just it's really cool.
It's interesting because I was a little concerned that with the loss of the labs that you had last 2 years really, that there might be something a little bit lost. And I don't think a thing has been lost. If anything, I think it's been kind of a gain in some ways.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a loss at all. There's definitely people that are really enjoying the talks throughout the whole day, and they keep coming back, and it's just really awesome to see.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll try and bring them back if we can do, because we don't feel the loss, but at the same time, maybe we could make it a bit better with them here. So I have some thoughts on how to do that as well.
You're not going to tell me?
I'm not going to tell you. No. I'll tell you when the camera stops rolling. Maybe.
Okay, all right.
I think it usually works.
Yeah, and then I'm sworn to secrecy. So.
Yeah. NDA, right?
I'll sign it in blood if necessary, which is probably what you'll require. I guess anybody that's seen the interviews with you all before know that this is a total volunteer effort, and that really intrigues me. There are people from all over, not the country, but the world, that have come here, not just to participate, but to volunteer to help make it happen. That's got to feel good, but it makes it something special.
Yeah, completely. I mean, out of the core team, we've got maybe 10 people in the core team, 8 or 10, something like that. And there's only 2 people in that team who actually live in the US. 3 people in that team who live in the US. Everybody else is spread out throughout the world. And so we do all of this before we even get to the city. And then people that come in and volunteer, and fantastic volunteers that you'll see walking around in the volunteer shirts, and they all come in from the rest of the world as well. It's not like they're just hopping off the bus from their house. They're actually making an effort to come, and that's really good, and that's a really nice thing. And equally, there's a lot of people who just make an effort to come to AltConf from the rest of the world without going to Dub, and that's exactly what we started it to do, to have a reason to come to San Francisco whenever you don't have a Dub ticket, which is nice.
Yeah. And Judy, you didn't have you just hopped off the bus, right? You didn't have any kind of trip at all.
No, I hopped off the bus from the Netherlands. It's a few hour trip, yeah.
There are a lot of people here from the Ukraine. I've talked to people, I think, from Canada. I stood in line for the keynote with someone from Australia, and it's just been it's fascinating, and it's so much fun to talk to those people, because you right away have something in common with them, but you get to learn about them. And it's what I've always said about these events. If we could just bring the whole world to a couple of these events, we would have no more problems.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what's always been really nice about the Dub Keynote line, is you just get to meet people like that, and now we get to do the same thing. Yeah, and you got to experience our line this year as well. That was fun.
Yeah, well, it is fun. I mean, okay, so it's down the side of the street, and what's so funny about it this year is on one side of the street is the AltConf line, on the other side is the WWDC line. Yeah. But there was no animosity.
Yeah, no, completely.
And I don't even know if that was your design or if that was an intentional design.
I couldn't possibly comment on.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun to see those parallels. Yeah,
it was such a big line as well. It was more than half the block of line for us. And what was really interesting, and I'll kind of claim this a little bit, but not really, Moscone let their line in earlier than we did. So by the time our line was kind of fully formed, it was bigger than the Moscone line. So now I'm just, the AltConf line was bigger than the Moscone line. Yeah, that's all you need to know. It's fine.
And you've got photos to prove it, right?
Yes, I do.
The other thing I'm noticing, I'm seeing WWDC jackets here. So people are, I'm not sure if anybody's actually going from here over there because it's sort of a one-way trip, but there are people from over there coming here, and that's really interesting. So it shows that what you are delivering is different than over there. It's not just a copycat thing.
Absolutely. I mean, we're featuring all the best speakers from the industry, and we've got people who are fans that are coming here from WWDC to see these people speak. Yeah.
Rob, is that kind of by design? I mean, I think from the beginning, you and I have talked a lot about the community, that this is a community event, and we said that earlier, but I'm struck just so much by it, by the fellowship and the not necessarily technical nature of the discussions.
Yeah, so like Judy mentioned before, we have every kind of talk possible. We want to have as many diverse speakers and talks as we can get. The whole thing is about the community. Yes, sometimes I say offhand, well, it's a good reason to come to San Francisco if you don't have a ticket, but it's not really a competition between whether we have a better lineup or whether Apple does. It's about everybody gets access to all the great content, and everybody gets access to speak to everybody that's here and be in the same place, and that's what it's all about. So is it by design? No, we're just putting on something that's fantastic for the community, and people that are inside Moscone are part of the community as much as people that are here are. So yeah, they should come. Everybody should come over. I would love it if it was a two-way street. I would love it if we did something and people could just go over to Moscone. But yeah, it's a good thing. It's good.
Okay, so I will apologize for this up front, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you to just comment on the little kerfuffle with Apple about streaming the video. I think it's appropriate, and I think we need to make sure that, go on the record that why they took the position and why they rescinded it.
Yeah, so let me think about answering this carefully, real quick. I think that I can understand why the reasons that it started. There was initially some confusion about whether we were charging for access to the Keynote and access to Apple content. We'd always been super clear that we weren't. And we had that on the website, we had that for anybody that was buying tickets. But there was some confusion. Confusion happens, especially with big companies. That's fine. We had 2 weeks of trying to work it out with them. We couldn't get it worked out, and that's okay. We had to let everybody know what was happening. We let everyone know. Community reacted in a fantastic way, and put their point of view across and tried to understand what was going on, and everybody had a good discussion about it. And then we came to an understanding with Apple, which just benefits everybody. And that's the important thing, is doing the right thing by the entire community. So we don't really need to focus on the how or the why or the what. The point is that we worked it out. Everybody had a good sane head on them, and we had a really fantastic Monday because we were able to work it out.
And to be very clear about it, you weren't, never have charged for access to the Keynote video. That was a clear misunderstanding.
Yes.
And you understood how it could be perceived that way, but it wasn't accurate. So you got it straightened out.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, we never once were charging for access to the Keynote. Honestly, the Keynote is possibly my favorite bit of the week. I think I've said this to you a couple of times. It's my favorite bit of the week. Just getting so many people into a room and kind of recreating the atmosphere of being in Moscone is brilliant. And I've done lots and lots of events back home whenever we sit and watch keynote party type things, and we as a team running AltConf want more people to come to AltConf. We don't want to charge people for the keynote because we want those rooms packed out, because actually, I enjoy the keynote just as much as everybody else. Judy enjoys the keynote just as much as everybody else. We like sitting in a packed room, and restricting the people that can be in that room for that really exciting bit of the week doesn't make any sense. The hero tickets are there. Yes, they say guaranteed entry, but in reality, we have more space than we would ever need. The hero tickets are there for people to be able to contribute to AltConf and have a reason to come to San Francisco, to justify it to their bosses, and to say, you know what, AltConf is doing something for the community. Let me support you in some small way to be able to continue to do it next year. And that's the reason that they're there. And yeah, maybe we can be clearer about that message, but that's the underlying reason.
Okay, so you just answered my next question, and that is what's the favorite part of the week? So Judy, I'll ask you, what's your favorite part of the week?
Oh gosh, my favorite part of the week is just seeing everybody and saying hello to friends from afar. Like, I guess the only way that I could see all my international friends is by putting on a conference.
Now the truth comes out.
I thought you were going to say your favorite part of the week is the end of the week.
The end of the week when it's my birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what? We have a birthday.
Yeah.
You brought it up.
I did.
What is the date so we know officially?
Well, it's the end of WWDC, so June 12th, yeah.
I won't ask any more, I promise. I promise. Well, listen, I want to thank you for being here, for what you do for the community, and for allowing me to be just a little part of it by giving me this little corner to talk to people, because it's part of the fun for me is to meet people I've never met before, find out their stories, find out what they're doing, what they're excited about. It just... the whole idea, I think, is to spread the community any way we can. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. And yeah, you've been to a few of these now. You know, you've always got a little corner that you can have to interview some folk. Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate it. So thank you. Judy, thank you.
Thank you. We'll always make space for you.
You're sweet. You're sweet. So we will see you again next year, but hopefully I'll be talking to you before that so we can tell a little people about the next version of AltConf.
Absolutely, yeah. Love it.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah, see you then.
Thank you so much.
Folks, more from AltConf and WWDC in San Francisco. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and the MacVoices blog. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date on all the latest MacVoices news from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Do more with your Apple tech by subscribing to the free MacVoices magazine on Flipboard by visiting macvoices.com/magazine. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.